So, like, in your experience, like, with, your other brothers, and I also asked Brian this, asked him, like, what are some myths that people have, or just, like, what are some misconceptions or ideas that people have of people that identify as gay or same-sex attracted?
Some myths or misconceptions. I mean, I think the biggest one that comes to mind is like if I say I'm gay, it means that I'm attracted to all men, that all men are
Yeah.
attractive to me or something, which is not true. Cause I'm sure if someone says they're straight, that doesn't mean they're attracted to all women, right?
Right, yeah.
So, so I think that's something. Cause I think a lot of times people will be like, wait, you're creating a ministry for men who are all attracted to men and you're putting them together and we do retreats. So like now we're taking it off the internet and we're going to a place in person and we're sleeping in the same rooms with people. Like, isn't that a recipe for disaster? And it's like, yes and no. Like we have clear guidelines and we talk about all of that. We talk about all of these different things about what is appropriate behavior at a men's retreat that we do. But like the reality is just because you're a man attracted to men and the person sleeping next to you is also a man attracted to men doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're attracted to each other and that problems are going to ensue. So I think that's
Yeah.
the biggest one is that like the fact that there's more nuance to it than that. Like people want to have a
Mhm.
clear answer in their head is like, oh, you're gay. That means you're attracted to all men. You want to have sex all the time. You want to have a boy. You want to get married today.
Right.
I don't know. There's room to not fit into such a neat little box. Like life is way more nuanced than that. So I think that's the big one that comes to mind for me. And then even within our community, like there are people who definitely aren't asexual for sure. I'm the minority in that sense, but there is such a spectrum of sexuality of people who don't experience any sexual attraction to people who experience it constantly, people who are only attracted to men. We have people in our community who identify as bi, who are attracted to men and to women. So like learning that sexuality is a spectrum, it's not a binary. I think that's probably the
Yeah.
biggest misconception that people, particularly more conservative or different generations of people in the church might not understand about folks like us.
Yeah, I think maybe for them, it might just be, like, it might be either a lack of language, or they're just it might be fear of just even talking about it,
Mhm.
or it might just be, like, in their generation, it was just more, like, hidden, and they didn't feel safe to talk about it. So I think this is just, like, my, like, guess is that, like, in generations past, like, they may have, like, just suppressed it or just didn't really just address it, and maybe, like, they were what I guess I would call, like, straight passing, which maybe they were just,
Right.
like, they had marriages, but they weren't attracted to who they were married to. So I feel like back
Right.
then, because they didn't have the language and they felt, well, this is the only way to be a man in the world, or they didn't have, like, a sense of coming to terms with it or integrating it, like, as
Right.
being a part of, like, just a believer. I can be a believer and still wrestle with this. I can be a believer and still identify as this. So I think it's
Yeah.